Hello, everyone. My name is Theresa Benson, Product Marketing Manager here at InRule Technology. Today, we're going to talk about CICD and compliance in the age of the non-developer. There are a number of challenges facing IT teams, and as you build new infrastructures and modernize, it's important to remain agile in order to improve employee, citizen, and business experience of your IT systems. We'll talk about some of the issues and then dive into the possible and workflows that enable rapid, compliant delivery of new capabilities to constituents, even when some of the people making changes to systems aren't necessarily technical resources on the IT team. What kind of forces are at play that are putting pressure on older systems? Well, people have known that we've needed technology enhancements, but the added focus on ethics and transparency coming at the federal level, initiatives we're seeing in local and global governments around the right to explanation as it relates to public policy decisioning are really emphasizing it. Citizens and businesses all but expect self-service experience of government. AI has gone mainstream, which poses challenges for teams wanting to adopt the very technology that they're also tasked with regulating. And there's added priority and focus on diversity and inclusion and ensuring automation doesn't exacerbate bias in public services. And we're seeing significant technical infrastructure investment in government as a somewhat lagging response to areas of risk uncovered by COVID. But the COVID impact on things like technology spending isn't the only thing at play. It's both technology and talent. According to data provided by the Office of Personnel Management, more than 30% of federal IT workers will be retiring in the next 2 to 3 years. In certain sectors, this number will spike to almost 50%, as in housing and urban development. So while governments are under this pressure, their resources are dwindling and experiential knowledge is walking out the door in droves. The diagram on the left shows what we call the stages of automation readiness. And you can see, regardless of the stage you're in, that gathering and automating of collective knowledge is absolutely foundational if an organization is destined to truly succeed in their digital transformation. This is all exacerbated by how changes in federal laws migrate in inconsistent and often undocumented ways to state and local systems for determining things like eligibility. All around the country, leaders of federal, state, and local public service programs are struggling in the minutia of policy and rules, as are the developer operations teams tasked with implementing them. This leads to massive silos with redundancy, manual intervention, misapplied regulations, and conflicting logic built into code across systems. The resulting lack of clarity and precision from federal law to the implementation of that law in each state's systems is expensive and breeds a host of additional risks and complications. This includes the potential for errors in translation at each step, the inability to ensure citizens are appropriately granted or denied benefits, and of course, fraud. The cost and legal implications can be enormous. For example, this 2018 National Healthcare Fraud Takedown was the largest of its kind. It spanned 58 federal districts and represented over $2 billion in losses. Healthcare fraud schemes are regional and viral. Criminals often copy fraud techniques they learn from other offenders in their communities. With siloed and disconnected systems, it can take time for governments to detect issues and identify trends. As Nicole Wong states so eloquently, there is significant opportunity to think in more sophisticated ways about the possible, and we shouldn't pass that up, which is why I'm here today. We see public sector application development and delivery leaders leaning into regulatory conformance as a strategy, not just reacting to it. They understand the huge impact of regulations and are reimagining infrastructures to give themselves regulatory agility. What does that look like? Well, by adopting a lean and responsive infrastructure, they simplify far-reaching and complex new regulations. They organize their regulatory requirements in one place and establish a cost base resized for these leaner operations. By abstracting and centralizing logic, they make automation accessible to a wide variety of applications. And as regulations change, the government response only need be updated in one place. But it's important to note here, we aren't talking about pulling decisions made by these systems and embedding them in code in a microservice. To make this work, it must be highly auditable, understandable, and built for efficiency. This isn't about pulling it out of code in one place, only to put it in code somewhere else. It must be automation accessible to all, regardless of their level of technical expertise. Many situations, particularly those that involve laws and regulations, require hundreds or thousands of rules to test all possible combinations of conditions. For example, there were roughly 200 to 250 rules with more than 5,000 combinations of the logic that govern the state of Michigan's Department of Corrections time calculation. The trap of building centralized microservices is that they still get organizations to the same result, being buried in code with limited explainability and limited agility. What's important is to build a lean infrastructure that ensures regulation complexity is consistently actionable. With good decision platforms, the logic is transparent, easy to understand, create, and edit. While deploying the InRule decision platform, a team of just 3 in the Michigan Department of Corrections was able to create all of the rules for their time comp system. With this improved structure, depending on the platform you choose, now you're able to take greater advantage of the power of AI, machine learning, and all that it has to offer and improve your systems. Here's the thing. Decision logic typically changes more frequently than other aspects of a system. With tools like these, non-developers can modify a decision incrementally or set it up with a future effective date, all without disrupting the rest of an application. The fascinating thing about moving to decision automation, unlike manufacturing automation, where the knowledge is transferred from a line worker or subject matter expert to code, is that with decision automation, we empower the subject matter expert, citizen developers, to keep things updated. They become empowered by the automation rather than disenfranchised. In fact, it was decision automation technology like what we have at InRule that enabled the Oklahoma Healthcare Authority to reduce costs by $18 million a year and reduce eligibility wait times for most applicants from 30 days to near immediate response. So, how do we empower citizen developers while still ensuring agility and responsiveness to regulation? If you haven't implemented it or aren't familiar, CICD has tremendous value across both public and private sector. First, you've got smaller code changes. These are simpler and easier to handle. These small changes can be tested as soon as they're integrated. This in turn leads to faster time to resolution. With these bite-sized code changes, you have bite-sized problems as they arise. In turn, that leads to improved quality because you're able to test more rapidly, more often, and make sure that what you're delivering is robust. That finally leads to greater ROI. As we think about the resources leaving the market, we know that we need our developer resources tasked on higher value items. With CICD, you're enabling your developers to be more successful faster. How we've implemented CICD for decision developer operations is with CICD for IR Catalog. IR Catalog is our application that stores, centralizes, and manages business logic for the InRule decision platform. CICD for IR Catalog delivers customizable approval workflows and improved lifecycle quality and safety. Whether your organization is seeking a fully automated workflow or one that includes human-in-the-middle assurance, our solution gives you the ability to deliver automated situational awareness and transparency and increases the ability to act quickly to stay in compliance with legislative changes. Let's say there's been a legislative action of some kind, and that requires a change in policy or procedure. We enable business analysts to make changes quickly and easily with IR Author. They can also validate and test without requiring a separate test infrastructure. As soon as our business analyst checks in the rule application, a number of automated actions start to take place. The first is situational awareness for the entire team. Now, we enable this in a number of ways, whether it be Slack, Microsoft Teams, via email. A number of methods are possible with CICD for IR Catalog. This ensures everybody knows the current status of the changes. Next, for our DevOps teams, we offer automated regression testing and promotion on success. This leaves developers free to work on more high-value items while still having improved lifecycle security. And finally, for the person who initiated the change, we provide a difference report that shows in specific detail exactly what changed to ensure that what's been done complies with the legislative action. Now, that's a fully automated workflow. We also talked about human-in-the-middle assurance. So again, that same legislative action occurs and our business analyst is empowered to make those changes in IR Author and test with IR Verify. When she checks it in this case, she might apply a label that indicates that this is the revision that I want to make live. When that happens, our developer in this case acts as that human-in-the-middle assurance. We see this with a lot of teams who are initially adopting CICD for IR Catalog for co-deployment with applications that they may have. As soon as he's had an opportunity to review those changes, we provide a single link that he can click and kick off everything else that's going to happen in the deployment lifecycle, including letting the author know that everything's been approved, promotion to live without any application downtime, and providing those artifacts for transparency and regulatory clarity to the person requesting those changes. In summary, it's important to understand that we can optimize regulatory adherence while improving employee, citizen, and business experience of our systems. There are certainly challenges. Market pressures are driving the need for self-service experience at a greater scale and with more transparency than ever before. Government and IT teams are grappling with imminent exodus of staff. The impact of noncompliance from siloed and disconnected systems is huge and growing. But centralizing regulatory logic enables agile, modern infrastructures. And even with non-technical change agents, government IT teams can develop workflows that enable rapid delivery of new capabilities while ensuring lifecycle quality and regulatory safety. Thank you so much for your time today. If you're interested in learning more about our government practice and how we enable CICD in the age of the non-developer, please do reach out.